Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Drux Milan Unboxing. Before we start, as you can see, we're going to have a very big fight night on the Zone. And a shout out to my friend Are Oladipo, who now is also part of a commentary team on the Zone. Great to see someone like Are doing so well during this time of a pandemic where it's very difficult in this industry. I was lucky enough to do some TV commentary along with Are back in, I think it was in 2019. And you couldn't have asked for a better anchorman. So big ups there to you, Are. We'll be watching you along with the fighters. Then on Saturday night, the main event was supposed to be Conor Ben against Adrian Granados. Ben tested positive for COVID-19, so that fight fell by the wayside. But I'm not too much broken up about it because moving up to the main event is the WBA regular world featherweight title. And I think we don't really recognize the regular titles, but the super champion is Leo Santa Cruz, who just got starched by Gervonta Davis. So I don't think we'll be seeing him back at featherweight anytime soon. So we can say it's a legit title fight almost. The Chinese man Zhu Kan, or Kan Zhu, I believe in China you say the surname first, is defending his title against the local man Leigh Wood. And I think style-wise it's going to be a very, very good fight. Now, as far as Chinese champions are concerned, we've had a couple already. We've had the WBC minimum weight or strawweight champion Zhao Zhong, who fought our own Nicky Butler at one stage. A bit of a scrappy fighter with a good left hook. And then there was a big Olympic star, Shiming Zhao, who eventually won the WBO flyweight title, had it for a short time. But he was more of a star as an amateur, you know, he didn't really make big waves as a pro. So if there is any Chinese fighter that really has a style and a pizzazz to cross over into the American market and the UK market, if anyone can, Zhu can. So Zhu Kan is an exciting fighter to watch. He's 18-2, only 3 knockouts, not a big puncher. And he struggled a bit to find his style. If you look at some of his earlier fights, he dropped 2 close decisions there in the forming years as a pro. But he's gone from strength to strength. He got that WBA secondary belt by beating Jesus Rojas, defended it by overwhelming Shun Kubo in Japan. And then his last fight was in 2019. He sat for all of 2020 out, a fight with Josh Warrington never materializing. So they have an inactivity, but what makes him exciting is this guy really throws punches. He's a volume puncher. He comes at you and he keeps throwing combination after combination after combination. Even though he's not a big puncher, he does have good technique. His technique is tight. Obviously, arm punches a bit. He doesn't put his weight and his hips behind his punches the way he should. That's why he's not a big puncher, but he never stops throwing. He does have a bit of head movement. Sometimes he neglects it, but his defense is nice and tight. But you can hit him. He walks with his hands held high, and he just throws combinations to the head and body. There's a bit of head movement. Sometimes he forgets it. And all in all, technically sound. But you can hit the guy, and he's not a big puncher. He just outworks you. So it's action from bell to bell with Kan Zhu. So Kan Zhu is up against Leigh Wood. This is a guy with a 24-2 record, 14 knockouts. In contrast to Kan, Woods can crack a little bit. We've seen the good and the bad of him in his last couple of fights. He beat Joyce, ground him down to a stoppage, and then he dropped a decision to Jazza Dickens, you know, a very close one to James Dickens, a guy that Guillermo Rigondeaux broke his jaw years ago in a title fight. And then in his last fight he came back again, winning the British title, stopping Reece Mould. Now Leigh Wood, he is a kind of an awkward fighter. He's a counter puncher. He likes sort of moving on his feet and attacking in spurts. He can punch. He's got a sweeping hook, and he's got a good right hand and left hand. And what he does is he's an orthodox fighter, but every so often he switches to the southpaw stance, from where he'll hit you with a right hook, and he'll also drop in the southpaw left. But for most of the time of a fight, he'll be in the orthodox stance. And he is a dangerous puncher. I think he can crack a bit. If he gets you hurt, he puts his foot on the gas and he goes all out to take you out. His losses way back early in his career got stopped by Gavin McDonnell, former world title challenger, is never known as a big puncher. And then there was a close loss to Jazza Dickens. Now, just like Khan, he also gets hit, and his technique is not as tight as Khan for me. So you can crack him. You know, when he opens up, he can sometimes throw a bit wide. There's gaps in between the punches. What I don't like about Wood, you always see that thing going when he throws his jab, the right hand drops. He throws his jab, the guard comes down. So if you're quick enough, you can hit him, and I'm sure Zhu Khan will lay hands on him. That's a given. But I also think that Wood will crack Khan a couple of times. Now, Leigh Wood can punch if he's going to win this fight. He's not going to outwork Khan. I don't think his work rate is high enough to stick and move and be consistent enough with a jab to prevent Khan from getting that momentum going, because that's one way. Just prevent Khan from getting all those punches off and stick and move with him and keep your feet moving and not give him time to settle. But I don't think that Leigh Wood can do that consistently enough. He will have to hurt Zhu Khan to stand a chance of winning this fight, and I think he has got a good underdog outside chance of winning it. Khan is slightly more experienced at the top level, and Khan fought guys that's not elite but very good, you know, Manny Robles in his last fight, and then he won the title against Jesus Rojas. And I'm not sure if Leigh Wood, Rojas also has got a respectable knockout ratio, and I don't think Leigh Wood is necessarily a better puncher than Rojas. So it all depends for me whether Leigh Wood can hurt Zhu Khan. If he can hurt him, for me, Leigh Wood can win this fight on an upset stoppage. But I think he's not. That is what he's going to try and do. And I'm gambling on the fact that if Zhu Khan could survive Robles and Rojas and these guys, he's going to get through the rough spots with Leigh Wood. But I think the styles will blend well to make for an interesting stylistic matchup. I expect Zhu Khan to fight the only way he fights these days is come forward and throw combination after combination, and Leigh Wood will hit him in his spots. But I do think Leigh Wood's going to last the distance. Zhu Khan is not that big of a puncher, and I think Zhu Khan will just have enough spots of outworking Leigh Wood, and I can see Leigh Wood scoring a knockdown maybe, and he can jump on Khan and try and finish him, but Khan is going to keep punching back. He's going to keep punching back, and because of his gaps in Leigh Wood's arsenal, I think he's going to get tagged. You know, if you look at Leigh Wood when he lost to Jazza Dickens, if you apply intelligent pressure on Leigh Wood consistently, then you're going to get over the hump with him. Joyce could not do that. He just walked in without any head movement, slugging away at Leigh Wood. Then he's going to pick you up with the counter shots. But Jazza Dickens, he boxed and he applied intelligent pressure. He was aggressive, but he had a lot of head movement and shifts of angles. One thing about Leigh Wood, what I notice is when he really sits down on his punches, when he goes through a knockout, that's when he briefly likes to turn southpaw. You know, he goes with a right hook. So he'll be fighting orthodox, he'll hurt you of something, then he'll switch to southpaw, and he'll sit down on his punches and take you out. So Zhu Khan's got to look for that. You know, if Leigh Wood turns southpaw, Khan is not the guy to fight on the back foot, but maybe just step around Leigh Wood, just give him a bit of a different look and get out of the way, because that's when I think the big punch comes from Leigh Wood. But all in all, I got to go with a chalk here. I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. And there's some good fights on the other card as well that I'm not going to cover. But I'm very interested to see what Zhu Khan and Leigh Wood do. But in the end, I think Khan can win the decision. So I'm going with him to win a clear decision over 12 rounds, with Leigh Wood having some moments and giving Zhu Khan some rocky moments. And keeping the fight interesting, keeping that suspense in the air. So let's see if Zhu Khan, or Khan Zhu, is the new breakout star from China. I think he's a Chinese fighter with the best chance to be that. And until we see each other again, please keep those hands up.